For 6 years, I lived for Victoria Hartwell. People called her the Ice Queen of Hartwell Group. I simply called her my wife. You're leaving already? I asked one morning. Victoria adjusted her blazer. Board meeting. You skipped dinner yesterday. I'm busy. I made your favorite soup. Then eat it. That was how most conversations between us ended. Still, I told myself love needed patience. Unfortunately, not everyone respected that love. One evening, Ethan Hartwell laughed when he saw me setting the table. Wow, brother-in-law, you become a full-time house husband. I forced a smile. Vanessa Cole smirked. Honestly, Ethan, he's harmless. Victoria likes having someone obedient around. I stayed silent. Ethan pointed at me. Didn't you study architecture? Yes. And you threw away your career for my sister? Vanessa laughed. That's actually sad. I looked toward Victoria. She kept reading documents. She didn't defend me. Later that night, I asked quietly, did what they said bother you? No, it bothered me. Victoria sighed. Why are you so sensitive? I'm your husband. And I thought you'd say something. They were joking. I smiled bitterly. Right. The next day, I met Marcus Reed. He had known me for years. Marcus frowned. You look exhausted. I'm fine. Stop lying. I laughed weakly. You always know. Marcus shook his head. You gave up everything for her. I chose that. And what did she sacrifice? I stayed quiet. Marcus sighed. Love should never cost your dignity. Victoria isn't bad. Then why do you look broken every time I see you? I had no answer. Weeks passed. Nothing changed. One night, Victoria came home unusually early. Can we talk? She asked. Of course. She sat across from me. Her face was calm. Too calm. Then she placed a folder on the table. What's this? I asked. Divorce papers. I thought she was joking. I laughed nervously. Not funny. I'm serious. My smile disappeared. What? I think you've become too comfortable. I stared at her. What does that mean? You depend on me too much. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I support you. You stay home. Because you asked me to. You agreed. I felt my chest tighten. So that's how you see me? Victoria crossed her arms. I'm teaching you a lesson. A lesson? Yes. She spoke casually. You've become too attached. I whispered, Victoria, we're married. And you'll come back. What? She smiled slightly. You always do. I felt cold. She continued calmly. You'll beg. I blinked. What? You'll apologize. For what? You'll realize how much you need me. I stared at the woman I had loved for 6 years. She wasn't angry. She wasn't emotional. She was confident. Completely confident. She believed I would cry. Fight. Beg. Like I always had. Something inside me cracked. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just quietly. Like glass breaking. I lowered my eyes. Without saying a word, I picked up a pen. Victoria smiled. That's right. I signed. Her smile froze. I signed every page. One after another. Silence filled the room. Finally, she stood up. What are you doing? I kept signing. Stop. I finished the last page. Her voice became shaky. Are you serious? I placed the pen down. She stared at my signature. No. For the first time in years, I saw panic in her eyes. No, this isn't how it's supposed to happen. I said nothing. Say something. I remained silent. You're supposed to argue. Nothing. Say something. Her voice echoed, but I had no words left. Ethan entered the room. What's with all the noise? Then he noticed the papers. His eyes widened. He signed. Vanessa arrived behind him. What happened? Victoria looked stunned. He signed. Vanessa laughed nervously. Very funny. It's real, Ethan whispered. Vanessa looked at me. You're bluffing. I stood up. No. Her expression changed. Wait, seriously. Nobody spoke. Victoria grabbed my arm. You can't leave. I looked at her hand. Slowly, she let go. You love me, she whispered. I finally spoke. I did. Those 2 words made her pale. Ethan frowned. Brother-in-law, stop being dramatic. I picked up my suitcase. Vanessa crossed her arms. He'll be back tomorrow. Victoria nodded quickly. Yes. I looked at her. She seemed desperate, almost frightened. Say something, she begged. I shook my head. There was nothing left to say. As I reached the door, Victoria suddenly stood up. Wait. I stopped. Her voice trembled. You'll come back, right? I closed my eyes. 6 years. 6 years of loving her. 6 years of hoping. 6 years of waiting. And, somehow, she thought divorce was a lesson. I opened the door. Behind me, I heard her voice. Please answer me. But I walked away. One suitcase. No anger. No tears. Just silence. As I stepped into the night, I felt empty. Yet strangely free. I didn't know it then. But the signature I gave without saying a word would become the greatest mistake Victoria Hartwell had ever made. And the beginning of the life I should have chosen long ago. 3 days after leaving the mansion, I moved into a small apartment. It wasn't luxurious, but it was peaceful. Marcus visited me that evening. He looked around and smiled. Not bad. I've seen better. I've seen worse. I laughed softly. Thanks for helping me move. That's what friends are for. I sat down. It's strange. What is? I thought I'd feel angry. And I just feel tired. Marcus nodded. That's normal. Do you think she'll call? He shrugged. Do you want her to? I stayed silent. Marcus sighed. You still love her. I don't know. You do. Maybe. But love isn't enough. I lowered my eyes. I wasted 6 years. No. I looked at him. No. You loved honestly. And what did I get? A lesson. I smiled bitterly. Sound expensive. Marcus laughed. Everything valuable costs something. Days became weeks. I slowly adjusted to my new life. Then Marcus asked me something unexpected. When are you going back? Back where? Architecture. I frowned. That part of my life is over. Who said that? I've been away too long. Marcus shook his head. You're 34, not 84. I'm rusty. You were talented. Was. Still are. I smiled weakly. You're stubborn. And you're scared. Maybe he was right. A week later, he dragged me to a design studio. Why are we here? I asked. Trust me. Inside, a woman looked up from her desk. Marcus smiled. Olivia, this is the man I told you about. She stood up. So you're the famous architect. I laughed. Former architect. She smiled warmly. I don't believe in the word former. Marcus grinned. I like her already. Olivia rolled her eyes. Sit down. I sat awkwardly. She handed me coffee. Marcus talks about you a lot. I'm sorry. She laughed. He's impossible. Marcus pointed at me. He designed half the projects I still brag about. Marcus. No, let me brag. Olivia smiled. He does that. For some reason, I felt comfortable. She asked, why did you stop designing? I hesitated. Life happened. She nodded. I understand. No judgment. No mocking. Just understanding. It felt strange. Meanwhile, life inside the mansion wasn't peaceful. I knew because Marcus still had friends connected to Hartwell Group. One afternoon, he called me. Guess who was losing her mind? Marcus. Victoria. I stayed quiet. She thought you'd come back. I know. Apparently. She's checking her phone every hour. I looked away. That's her problem. Good answer. Another week passed. Still, I never called. Neither did I answer the few messages she sent. Then Marcus told me something else. Vanessa is encouraging her. Ow! She says you're bluffing. I almost laughed. Of course she does. According to Vanessa, you'll come crawling back. I shook my head. Not this time. At Hartwell Group, things were changing. Marcus told me stories he heard from old contacts. Victoria has become colder. She was always cold. No. What's different? Now she's angry. I remained silent. He continued. People are scared of her. Why tell me this? Because someone noticed. Who? Her assistant. Assistant. Claire Dawson. A few days later, Marcus met Claire by chance. He shared their conversation with me. She asked if something happened. And I told her nothing. What did she say? Marcus smiled. She said Victoria hasn't smiled in weeks. I didn't know what to feel. Then another surprise arrived. Olivia called me. Busy. Not really. Come to the studio. Why? I need help. When I arrived, she handed me drawings. What do you think? I blinked. You want my opinion? Obviously. I'm rusty. Good. What? Fresh eyes are useful. I studied the plans. There are problems. Show me. I pointed at several details. Olivia's eyes widened. You're right. I am. Completely. She smiled. See? See what? You never stop being an architect. I laughed softly. Maybe she was right. For the first time in years, I felt useful. Meanwhile, trouble appeared inside Hartwell Group. Their biggest luxury project had serious design issues. Contractors complained. Investors became nervous. And then something unexpected happened. The original design files were requested. Those files were mine. I had created them years ago. Back then, Victoria praised my ideas. Later, everyone forgot, including me. But now those designs were important. Very important. Marcus called me immediately. You won't believe this. What happened? Hartwell Group is in trouble. Business trouble. Big trouble. And they need the original plans. I froze. The ones I made? Exactly. I sat silently. Marcus laughed. The useless husband suddenly became valuable. I smiled sadly. Life really was strange. That same evening, Claire entered Victoria's office. According to Marcus, she asked carefully, "Ma'am, should I contact him?" Victoria looked up. "No. Are you sure?" "Absolutely." Claire hesitated. "But these plans belong to him." Silence. Then Victoria whispered something. Something nobody expected. Was I wrong? Claire blinked. "I'm sorry." Victoria stared at the empty chair beside her desk. The chair where I used to sit during late nights. The chair where I listened to her complaints. The chair that had remained empty for weeks. Then she quietly asked Claire, "Yes, ma'am. Did he really leave?" For the first time since our divorce, Victoria Hartwell finally understood something. I hadn't signed those papers to teach her a lesson. I had signed because I was done. And for the first time in 6 years, she started missing me. 3 months after leaving Victoria, my life slowly became peaceful. Not perfect, but peaceful. One morning, Olivia walked into the studio carrying coffee. "Good morning." "Morning. You worked late again." "So did you." She smiled. "Fair point." I accepted the cup. "Thanks." "You're welcome." She sat beside me. "You look happier." "Do I?" "Definitely." I laughed. "Maybe I'm healing." "That's good." We worked quietly for a moment. Then she asked softly, "Do you still miss her?" I paused. "Sometimes." "Do you love her?" "I don't know." Olivia nodded. "You don't have to answer." "I'm sorry." "For what?" "For bringing my baggage." She smiled warmly. "We all have baggage." I smiled. "You're easy to talk to. And you're easy to listen to." Neither of us pushed things further. Friendship was enough. For now. Later, Marcus called me. "Free tonight?" "Depends." "Dinner?" Serious voice. Very serious. At dinner, he grinned. "You look alive again." I was never dead. You know what I mean? I laughed. "Fine." Then his expression changed. "Hartwell Group is having problems." I remained calm. "Business problems?" "Huge problems." "What happened?" "Ethan happened." I almost smiled. "What did he do?" "Bad investments." "Ouch." "Millions gone." I shook my head. He always thought he was smarter than everyone. Marcus nodded. "And now investors are nervous." I stayed silent. "Still don't care?" "I don't know." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "Progress." Meanwhile, Victoria kept calling. I ignored every message, every missed call, every email. One night, my phone rang again. I sighed. Marcus looked over. Yes." "Answer." "No." "Good." I declined the call. Marcus smiled. About time. But according to Marcus, things inside Hartwell Group kept getting worse. Claire Dawson had become one of the few people Victoria trusted. Apparently, she had finally spoken honestly. Marcus shared the story. Claire confronted her. "Seriously?" He nodded. "She said something brutal." "What?" Marcus looked directly at me. "She told Victoria, 'You never lost a servant. You lost the only person who truly loved you.'" I froze. Those words stayed in my mind. I wonder how Victoria reacted. Marcus sighed. "Not well." "What happened?" She cried. I looked up. Cried. For the first time. I said nothing. Part of me felt sad. Another part felt nothing. Weeks later, Marcus called again. "You won't believe this." "What now?" Victoria visited me. I blinked. "What?" "Yesterday." "What did she want?" "You." I sighed. "Of course." Marcus chuckled. "She looked terrible." "What did she say?" "She asked me to help." "And?" I refused. I smiled slightly. "What exactly did you tell her?" Marcus leaned back. "I told her something simple." "What?" You treated him like he would stay forever. I stayed quiet. He continued. Then I said, you destroyed your own marriage. What did she do? Nothing. Nothing. She just sat there. I lowered my eyes. Marcus sighed. She looked broken. I know that feeling. He nodded. Exactly. Back at the studio, Olivia noticed I seemed distracted. You okay? Yeah. Liar. I laughed. Am I that obvious? Terrible actor. I smiled. Marcus told me something. Bad. Complicated. She nodded. I'll listen. And she did. Without judging. Without interrupting. When I finished, Olivia smiled. You know something? What? You deserve peace. Maybe. No. She pointed at me. Definitely. I laughed. Bossy. Very. Life continued. Then one afternoon, Olivia walked into my office excited. Someone important is coming. Ooh, a client. That's normal. Not this client. Before I could ask more, a man entered. He extended his hand. Daniel Brooks. I shook it. Nice to meet you. He smiled. I've heard good things. Hopefully true things. He laughed. Marcus Reed speaks highly of you. I groaned. He exaggerates. No. Daniel opened a folder. I've seen your old work. I blinked. My old work. Impressive. That was years ago. Talent doesn't expire. I smiled awkwardly. Thank you. He leaned forward. I own Brooks Architecture. I know, and I want to offer you something. I frowned. What? Lead a major project. I stared at him. Me? Yes. I've been away for years. So, I'm rusty. Daniel smiled. I don't hire confidence. What do you hire? Ability. I sat speechless. This is a big opportunity. It is. Why me? He smiled. Because people with real talent are rare. I laughed softly. You sound like Marcus. He recommended you. Of course he did. Daniel chuckled. So, I looked at the designs. My hands trembled slightly. Years ago, I abandoned my dream. Years ago, I convinced myself I wasn't important. And now life offered me another chance. I smiled. When do we start? Daniel extended his hand again. Tomorrow. I shook it. Deal. That night, I stood near my apartment window. For the first time in years, I felt hope. Meanwhile, somewhere inside Hartwell Group, Victoria's world continued falling apart. And as my life slowly rose again, hers finally began to collapse under the weight of everything she had refused to see. 6 months later, my life looked completely different. The project Daniel trusted me with became a huge success. One morning, Daniel entered my office smiling. You know investors are fighting over you now. I laughed. That's an exaggeration. No. He sat down. I'm serious. I still can't believe any of this. Daniel smiled. Get used to it. Olivia walked in carrying coffee. Celebrating without me? Daniel laughed. There she is. She handed me a cup. Congratulations. Thank you. Daniel stood up. I'll leave you two alone. After he left, Olivia smiled. Proud of yourself? I looked at the award on my desk. Honestly, yes. For the first time in years. She smiled softly. You deserve that feeling. I forgot what it felt like. Then remember it. I laughed. You're always saying the right thing. No. She grinned. I'm just stubborn. Our friendship had grown naturally. She never pressured me, never rushed me. And somehow, that patience meant everything. One evening, we stayed late at the office. Olivia looked up. Can I ask something? Sure. Do you still hate her? I thought carefully. No. Really, I don't hate Victoria. What do you feel? I smiled sadly. Nothing like before. Olivia nodded. That's healthy. Is it? It means you're healing. Meanwhile, Hartwell Group continued falling apart. Marcus visited me one weekend. Have you heard the latest? No. Ethan caused another disaster. I sighed. Seriously? Marcus laughed. The board almost exploded. What happened? He ignored warnings. Again, millions disappeared. I shook my head. He never learns. Marcus nodded. Investors blame him now. And Victoria? He sighed. She's paying the price. I stayed quiet. Then he smiled bitterly. And Vanessa? What about her? She disappeared. I blinked. Really? The scandal started, and she ran. I laughed softly. Sounds like Vanessa. Apparently, she values herself more than friendship. I looked away. Life had strange ways of revealing people. Marcus continued. You know what's sad? What? Victoria finally understands. Understands what? Most people around her loved her position. Not her. Exactly. Days passed peacefully. Then one rainy evening, I was preparing to leave work. Olivia looked outside. Terrible weather. Yeah. You want dinner? Sound good. Before we left, the receptionist called. Someone is asking for you. I frowned. Who? She hesitated. Victoria Hartwell. Everything became quiet. Olivia looked at me. You don't have to. I nodded slowly. I know. Outside, rain poured heavily. And there she stood. Victoria. But she wasn't the woman I remembered. She looked tired, exhausted, broken. Her eyes met mine. Hello. I stood silently. She smiled weakly. You look well. Why are you here? Rain soaked her coat. I needed to see you. Why? She lowered her eyes. I miss you. I stayed quiet. She laughed sadly. Still silent. What do you want, Victoria? Tears appeared in her eyes. I wanted to apologize. I said nothing. She looked at me desperately. I never wanted this. My expression remained calm. What do you mean? I never wanted the divorce. I stared at her. What? She wiped her tears. I thought you'd fight. I remained silent. She cried harder. I thought you'd stop me. You filed. I know. You handed me the papers. I know. You wanted to teach me a lesson. She nodded. I know. Her voice broke. I was stupid. Rain continued falling around us. I thought you'd beg. I smiled sadly. You expected me to stay. Yes. You expected me to accept anything. She covered her face. Yes. I looked at her quietly. You wanted to teach me a lesson. She sobbed. But I learned something different. Her tears fell faster. What? How little I respected myself. Victoria cried openly. I'm sorry. I stayed silent. I'm so sorry. She grabbed my hand. Please. I gently pulled away. Her face turned pale. I changed. I'm glad. Please give me another chance. I closed my eyes. Memories flooded my mind. The lonely dinners. The endless waiting. The insults. The silence. The divorce papers. And the man I used to be. That man would have forgiven immediately. That man would have begged for love. But I wasn't that man anymore. I looked at her. Victoria. She raised her eyes hopefully. I loved you. I know. I gave you everything. I know. And you never noticed. Fresh tears appeared. I'm sorry. I believe you. Hope returned to her face. Then, but I can't go back. Her smile disappeared. What? I can't. Why? Because I finally found myself. She shook her head desperately. No. Yes. We can fix this. No. We could try. No. Her voice trembled. Don't do this. I smiled sadly. I already lived this pain. She froze. What? Now it's your turn. She cried harder. I deserve that. Neither of us spoke. Finally, she whispered. Do you love someone else? I looked toward the office. Olivia stood near the window, quietly waiting, not interfering, not demanding, just waiting. I smiled slightly. I'm learning how to be happy. Victoria followed my eyes. And for the first time, she understood everything. Not because I had taken revenge, not because I wanted to hurt her, but because life had simply moved forward, and karma had accomplished what revenge never could. For the first time in her life, Victoria Hartwell felt the same heartbreak she had once left inside me. And for the first time in mine, I walked away without looking back. Nearly a year after the divorce, I barely recognized my old life. Brooks Architecture had expanded. Daniel trusted me with bigger projects. And for the first time in years, I slept peacefully. One morning, Daniel walked into my office. You know you're becoming expensive? I laughed. Should I apologize? No. He smiled. I should thank you. Why? You helped this company grow. I smiled. And you gave me a second chance. Daniel shook his head. You earned it. Later that afternoon, Olivia entered. Lunch. Always. She smiled. You've become predictable. And you complain every time. Because it's fun. We laughed. Things between us had changed naturally. No pressure. No games. No fear. One evening, she asked quietly, Can I ask something? Sure. Are you happy? I looked at her. Yes. Really? Really? She smiled. Good. What about you? I'm happy too. I smiled. I'm glad. Then she laughed. You know, most people would call this dating. I almost choked on my coffee. We're dating. She laughed harder. I was wondering when you'd realize. I laughed with her. Sorry. Slow man. Very slow. But worth waiting for. Those words warmed my heart. For the first time, love felt peaceful. Not painful. Not exhausting. Peaceful. Meanwhile, Marcus continued updating me about old news. Ethan finally got kicked out. I raised an eyebrow. Seriously? Marcus nodded. The board had enough. What about Victoria? She couldn't protect him anymore. I sighed. He brought it on himself. Marcus smiled. And Vanessa? What about her? Gone. I laughed softly. Completely? Completely. Not surprising. Marcus nodded. Funny how fake friends disappear. What about Hartwell Group? It survived, but not as powerful. I remained quiet. Then Marcus smiled. Claire stayed. Really? Apparently. She's one of the few people Victoria trusts. I nodded. Claire always seemed loyal. She is. Months passed peacefully. Then Daniel called one morning. Get ready. For what? Tonight. What's tonight? An awards ceremony. I groaned. I hate those. Too bad. Olivia laughed beside me. You're going. Both of you are cruel. Daniel grinned. Absolutely. That evening, we arrived together. Olivia adjusted my tie. Relax. I'm trying. You look handsome. I smiled. Thank you. And nervous. Also true. Daniel laughed. You two are adorable. Ignore him, Olivia whispered. Inside the ballroom, people greeted us. Then my name was announced. I froze. Olivia squeezed my hand. Go. I walked onto the stage. As applause filled the room, memories flashed through my mind. The dreams I abandoned. The pain I survived. The nights I spent doubting myself. And somehow I had made it. After the ceremony ended, I stepped away for some fresh air. Then I heard a familiar voice. Congratulations. I turned. Victoria stood there. For a moment, neither of us spoke. She looked different. Not broken. Not cold. Just quieter. Older somehow. She smiled sadly. You deserve this. Thank you. She looked at the award. You really did it. I guess I did. She nodded. Claire told me you would. I smiled. She's kind. She saved me. I blinked. What? Victoria smiled weakly. When everyone left, she stayed. I nodded. Good people are rare. Yes. Silence followed. Then she laughed softly. You know something? What? I finally understand. I looked at her. She lowered her eyes. I finally understand what I destroyed. Her voice trembled. I had everything. I remained silent. And I threw it away. Tears appeared in her eyes. Because of pride, I smiled gently. And I finally understand what I deserve. She nodded. You do. There was no anger between us. No bitterness. Only memories. Victoria wiped her eyes. I used to think love meant winning. And now I know love means appreciating people before it's too late. I nodded. That's true. She smiled sadly. Too late for me. Neither of us denied it. Because some truths didn't need words. Then she asked quietly, do you love her? I smiled. Yes. Victoria followed my gaze. Olivia stood near the entrance, patiently waiting, just as she always did. Victoria smiled. She's beautiful. She is. And kind. Very. Victoria laughed softly. You smile differently now. I blinked. Really? Yes. She nodded. You smile like someone at peace. I smiled. Maybe I am. Fresh tears appeared in her eyes. I'm glad. Then she extended her hand. Goodbye. I looked at it, then shook it. Goodbye, Victoria. She smiled. No regrets. I thought carefully. I regret losing myself. And now? Never again. She nodded slowly. Good answer. Then she whispered, thank you. For what? For loving me when I didn't deserve it. I smiled sadly. Take care of yourself. You too. And that was it. No dramatic ending. No final argument. No revenge. Just closure. As I walked back toward Olivia, she smiled. Everything okay? Yes. You sure? I took her hand. Completely. She smiled. Good. Marcus and Daniel waved from our table. Finally, Marcus shouted, Old man, hurry up. Daniel laughed. Olivia giggled. Your friends are impossible. I know, and I love them. She squeezed my hand. I know. As we walked together, I realized something important. Sometimes the greatest victory isn't revenge. It's refusing to lose yourself for someone who never appreciated your love. And for the first time in my life, I understood that being loved should never require me to stop loving myself.